everyone. This is Al Wilson Jr. again. Thank you so much for coming back to the Restoration Series, The Mind Part 1. I really appreciate you being here again. For those of you who saw the last video, the introduction, and have posted it on Facebook or YouTube, for sharing it, I thank you so much. Now, what we're going to get in today is actually talking about the mind. So without further ado, I want to jump right on into this. Right in front of you, you see a diagram of an iceberg. And a lot of people don't know that the actual iceberg itself is actually more so what's beneath the water, or that which is not seen, and it's bigger than the part that is seen above the water. So the conscious mind and the subconscious mind are similar in fashion. We all know about the conscious mind. It's about what we have in our current awareness, okay? It's about the things that I'm thinking about during the day. It's about what I'm thinking about while I'm awake. All those things that are happening around me that I am aware of, that's me operating in my conscious mind. And then you also have the preconscious mind, which is working along with the subconscious mind. Now, what the preconscious mind carries is that information that isn't necessarily at the forefront of my mind. I'm not thinking about it all the time, but I can bring it back to my awareness whenever I'm ready to. For example, if any of you work computers, you know that when you're working with a screen, you can minimize it and then come back to it later, but you don't necessarily have to close it completely down and then go into the hard drive to pull it back up again. It can just kind of sit there in the sys tray, right? Another example would be like your name. You don't walk around all day trying to remember what your name is so that when somebody asks you for your name, you can give it to them. No, it's just kind of sitting there in your sys tray, or your preconscious mind, in other words. And what that does for you is allows you to retrieve information immediately upon need, as opposed to having to go back into the recesses of your subconscious mind to pull it forward. So you don't have to think a long time about what your name is, as you would have to think about a memory or something that happened when you were 3 years old. At that point, you got to go way back in the filing system to pull that information up, right? Well, not necessarily with your preconscious mind. If it's something that's sitting in your preconscious mind, again, you can bring it to the forefront anytime you get ready. You got that? Now, the largest part of your mind, of course, is the subconscious mind. And just like this diagram here that you see, this picture, it's the largest part of your mind, and it sits beneath the surface, so to speak. Now, just like the iceberg you see there is normally the part that goes unnoticed, or that nobody pays attention to, that can cause the most damage. You don't believe me? Ask the people who were on the Titanic. I know that sounds kind of foul, but it's true. If you don't know what's beneath the surface, that can really hurt you. So that's why we want to talk about it today. Now, the subconscious mind works like a gigantic database of information. It's like a huge supercomputer. That's really what the mind is. It's the engine that drives us. It's a storage facility. It stores memories. It stores dreams, hopes, wishes. It stores your beliefs, your thoughts, and your fears, and everything else. It covers a multitude of memories and understandings and ideas and thoughts. It covers all of that. That's why the subconscious mind is so large. It can just cover, hold unfathomable amounts of data. Now, here's the thing. At any given moment, there are about 2 million bits of sensory data trying to make it into our subconscious mind. So all the advertisings you see, all of the things that are vying for your attention, all of it's trying to get into your mind. But here's the thing. The mind can only process about 40,000 bits of data per second. But even before we get there, how do we get all of this information possibly into our mind to begin with? Well, of course, we have the 5 senses, right? We have your eyes, we have the ears, we have the mouth. So we have sight, we have hearing, we have taste, we have touch, we have smell. And these 5 senses is what our mind uses to retrieve information. Okay, what information is it retrieving? Information that is important to us. And how does it determine what's important to us? That's the big question. How does it determine what's important to you and I? Well, we have what's called the reticular activating system. And the reticular activating system is like the doorman at a nightclub. If you've ever been out to a nightclub, or you know somebody who's been, or you've seen it on TV, the doorman is determining, based on what the owner of the club wants, who's important and who's not important, or who fits the description of somebody that should be inside that club and who does not. And so it's his job to filter them out, keep those that are good, throw out those that are bad, and that's exactly what your reticular activating system does. Okay? Now, have you ever heard that phrase, in one ear and out the other? That's exactly what the reticular activating system is doing. It's throwing out information that is not important to you, and it's bringing in information that is important to you, and it's based on a couple things. Now, who gets in, who doesn't get in? What information gets in other words, and what information does not get in? Well, there's filters that we have that determine what gets in and what doesn't get in. And you can see over here, these filters are broken up into just 6 for today. I'm sure there's many more, but we're not going to get into all of those. The most important ones is, first of all, your sense of self, or in other words, who do you believe you are to yourself? Your values, what are those things that you really do treasure? What do you cherish? Number 3, your strong held beliefs, whether that's faith, whether that's religion, philosophy, whatever it is, all 3 of those are operating on your behalf. Your memories, your past experiences. Now, this is important. Many of us have memories, of course. All of us have memories. All of us have past experiences. Some of those memories or experiences were either good or bad, but it doesn't matter. It's still helping to determine what's important to you and what's not important to you. I hope you're getting this, because this is very, very powerful right here. Then your programming. How do you operate? What's your modus operandi? How do you run yourself? And then lastly, your survival needs. You're looking out for number 1, of course, right? The most important rule. Always look out for number 1. Make sure you're okay. Of course, you can't help anyone else if you're not okay. So the first thing that you're always going to think about is your own safety. And that's also helping to determine what's important to you or what's not important to you. Now, when we get into this next time, what we're going to do is look at how these things are making choices for us based on what we've experienced, what we believe, what we think about ourselves. All of these are making decisions even before we open our mouths. Even before we open our mouths, it's already making decisions. And sometimes that leads us to reaching our goals. Sometimes it keeps us from reaching our goals. So that's what we're going to get into. I really appreciate you being here for this. Hey, please share this video as well. I know you're going to love the next one. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, remember, you can experience restoration in your own life, but it starts with your mind. Have a wonderful day.